Hey everybody, it's Party Lead here with another episode of Total Breakdown. Today we're going to see eumaies lead his dwarf throng against the Warriors of Chaos, led by CNR 1st Schutzstaffel, a name that I certainly mispronounced. My apologies. We begin, of course, with talk of composition and deployment, and the Dwarven deployment here is interesting, to say the least. Let's take a look at them first. We've got a Rune Lord in charge on foot. Up front, a Runesmith on foot as well. And up front, we've got these 3 units of miners with blasting charges spread very far and wide out. Right behind them, we have these long beards with great weapons. 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them. They are armor piercing. That'll be quite helpful against the Warriors of Chaos. And then we've got some of these Quarrelers over here alongside Ulthar's Raiders and these Rangers with great weapons, hoping to get some damage from range in. We've got some Iron Drakes back over here and over here as well with their Trollhammer torpedoes, both of them. And then we've got these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, the Dwarf Warrior Regiment of Renown. And in the trees here, we've got these Dragonback Slayers as well. Again, hoping to swarm out, I think, these Slayers and shut down any cavalry that might get too adventurous. While the cannon over here is already opening shots off, getting some damage in to enemy large units and, of course, infantry alike when the time comes. Let's take a look at the Warriors of Chaos. They're being led by Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. Up front, he's got 4 units of Chaos Marauders charging down the field already, and right behind them, you can see we've got a pair of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and behind them, we've got 3 units of Chosen with great weapons. So a lot of armor-piercing and heavy armor capabilities over here. While tucked away in the trees, you can see we've got these 2 units of Chaos Warhounds already pushing forward, and then up front over here, we've got these 3 units of Marauder Horsemen with their throwing axes. Again, armor-piercing, a good call against the Dwarves, but you can see the cannons already firing away and getting a touch of damage in to this unit of Marauder Horsemen with their throwing axes, hoping to scare these guys off, as some of these Quarrelers as well with their superior range fire away and try to scare off some of these Marauder Horsemen. Good calls over there as these Marauder Horsemen turn around and try to get some damage into these miners with their blasting charges. You can see the cannon rotating, hoping to get some shots in as these guys are clumped in rather nicely. They will eat a lot of damage, and the Quarrelers again have extremely high range, so they will get a fair bit of damage done as these Marauders are looking for an opportunity to engage something, anything. In comes some more cannon shots, and you can see some really good hits coming in from those cannons, just dropping these Marauder Horsemen. Good call. There's no reason not to fire on them. Get rid of some of that range capability, especially since it is armor piercing. The cannon gets a lot of damage done. It is armor piercing as well, so might as well do that, focusing on these massive clumps as the rest of the Chaos Army pushes towards your forces. And you can see at the same time these miners with blasting charges throwing their blasting charges into these horses and slowing them down ever so slightly as they try to turn around and escape, and a couple of throwing axes into these miners over here, but not too much damage, dropping their health by about 25%, but losing a lot more in return as well. And you can see the Rune Lord is actually pushing forward as well, maybe hoping to provide some support as these miners with blasting charges push in, and I think hope to pin all of these Marauder Horsemen in place. And the cannon continues to fire away, as you can see, gets just a touch of damage here and there. A couple more shots coming in from the cannon, again tossing some of these Marauder Horsemen off their horses and causing a fair bit of hurt there. They're down by about 25% health, 50% health, and maybe 10% health on these ones. Great work there. Meanwhile, over here you can see we actually have these Chaos Warhounds taking a very wide path, trying to get into, I think, the cannon as well as these Iron Drakes with their Trollhammer torpedoes, hoping to shut down that very threatening range capabilities nice and early before they get too close, of course. And you can see now these miners with blasting charges tossing their blasting charges into these Chaos Marauders as these Chaos Marauders dive in. And at the same time, we actually have the Rune Lord using the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin on these Chosen with great weapons, a very threatening unit, those Chosen with great weapon. So good call, slowing them down and also causing damage before lines are even able to meet. While over here you can see these miners with blasting charges throwing their blasting charges into these Chaos Marauders, hoping to eliminate these Marauders so they're not able to come in for flanking opportunities and things like that, while the Quarrelers fire away as well. And the Runesmith now able to push in with a rear charge of his own and maybe scare these Marauders off before too much damage is done there. And at the same time, you can see we've got these long beards now pushing forward with their great weapons on all sides, and these Iron Drakes as well now getting involved on the right flank, getting a lot of damage. And of course, look at those Chaos Marauders explode. They're willing to give up on the fight more or less instantaneously, already routing over here. And you can see these Rangers now turning around, hoping to get involved in the center, while these long beards as well intercepting the incoming Chosen and Chaos Marauders as well, while the cannon now firing away at this massive clump of Chosen with great weapons and Chaos Marauders as well, just hoping to get some damage into this left flank and help these long beards, the Rune Lord, as well as these miners with blasting charges overcome that left flank situation and then hopefully push in for an envelopment. And at the same time, you can see we've got Marked by Ulthar going down on these Chosen with great weapons in the center over here, and take a look at the amount of damage output going on over here as these Quarrelers and these Rangers and Ulthar's Raiders all fire away into the front. We've got the Trollhammer torpedoes as well coming in, so these Chosen are absolutely melting away down to about 50% health and 50% morale. At the same time, you can see we've got these Chaos Warriors pushing in, chasing after Ulthar's Raiders, while over here we're going to get a nice cast of the Burning Skull, the Flaming Head, the Fiery Pac-Man, all the names that it's being given. I'm not 100% sure, but it does do a fair bit of damage. Decent cast over there, trying to get rid of some of this range support that the Dwarfs have brought to the field today, and you can see the Chaos Warhounds, unfortunately, not yet involved. They just managed to get to the trees. It took them a very long time to get here, and they need to push in to the cannon that already has almost 40 kills. And up front, you can see at the same time as the cannon is firing away, we have these Chaos Warriors hit by the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, slowing them down and causing damage. Great work over there, but you can see these Quarrelers have taken a fair bit of damage from that spell. They have been pulled down to about 50% health, but they continue to fire away, of course. The cannon as well continues to fire away, hoping to get advantages there on that left flank, while you can see these Marauder Horsemen with their throwing axes have kind of pulled off to the side over here, maybe hoping to get into some rear charges, get some more axes thrown, get some damage done. At the same time, Archaon, of course, bringing in some more magical support right in on top of those Quarrelers. Maybe not the best target, if I was to be perfectly honest. I think the better target for all this magical damage would maybe be Ulthar's Raiders, especially because they bring in Marked by Ulthar as well, and that is a support ability that helps all the other range units as well. So it might have been better to try and shut these guys down using the the Fiery Pac-Man and the spells that we're about to see as well. While over here you can see these Chosen are absolutely falling apart, but so too now, unfortunately, are the Quarrelers. As those fireballs drop in from the skies, they're absolutely dying away, while the Trollhammer torpedoes here fire away as well, hoping to get some support in against these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. But as you can see, they've already given up on the fight. They decide to turn around and leave, and that left flank as well looks like it's not doing too hot for the Chaos Warriors over here. You can see the Chosen as well as these Chaos Marauders falling apart thanks to the support from the cannons as well. While on the right flank as well, you can see this Runesmith is giving up on the fight. Archaon turns around and decides to dive in on these Longbeards with their great weapons. We have a lot of range support coming in to that central right flank as well, hoping to get rid of these Chosen with great weapons as quickly as possible. Standard Die is active, keeping their leadership and melee defense up, but you can see these Trollhammer torpedoes are doing a lot of damage, while back here these Chaos Warhounds are able to push right through into these Iron Drakes with their Trollhammer torpedoes, shutting down at least one unit. Now, it would have been wise to send one of these Chaos Warhound units off to the side, chasing after these Rangers with great weapons, or pushing in after these Iron Drakes, or maybe even after these Quarrelers, just to shut them down once and for all. But you can see it's sort of a concentrated push into this one unit of Iron Drakes, and they are able to hold their own a little bit. They've got a great deal of armor, and that's going to help these Iron Drakes stay alive. Even if they do get engaged by these Chaos Warhounds, they'll at least last for a little while. So a bit of a mistake there, I would say, from the Warriors of Chaos, and you can see these Iron Drakes continue to fire away into these Chosen with their great weapons. We get shots coming in from these Rangers with great weapons from the side as well. A lot of armor-piercing damage coming in, a lot of explosive damage as well coming in, and so these Chosen with great weapons are not going to have a good time. They're going to start exploding into little pieces. They're going to fall back, and they're ultimately going to give up if there's enough pressure coming in from all those ranged units. But unfortunately, they are able to close the gap into these Quarrelers first, and now you can see these Chaos Warhounds as well pulling away as these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are giving chase. The Chaos Warhounds has to pull away as Archaon as well decides to dive into these Rangers with their great weapons. And now you can see the Chosen have given up on the fight in the center over here. Ulthar's Raiders getting a last little bit of damage, some Iron Drakes as well firing away, and an ultimate shatter from those Chosen. Not so Chosen anymore, and you can see the Rune Lord is helping this left flank win for the Dwarfs as well, while the Marauder Horsemen with their throwing axes decide to get involved a little bit more personally over here, diving in, throwing their axes, getting some of that armor-piercing damage in here, trying to scare off some of these ranged units, while up front you can see we've got the Chaos Warriors over here. They were hit by the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, trying to get rid of these guys using the Miners as well as the Longbeards with great weapons. And you can see back here some of these Marauders with their throwing axes are running out of ammunition, and as such might push into melee, and that is not a bad call at all. If you can push into melee with rear and side charges, get some of that morale damage in there, there's a great use of ranged units when they have run out of ammunition, of course. Meanwhile, over here you can see the Chosen with great weapons having a field day, killing these Longbeards, pushing through despite the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin rather, I should say. But these Iron Drakes now firing away and eliminating these Chosen with their great weapons as they give chase to the Miners over here. And now you can see Archaon once again using some of his magical prowess to try and eliminate these Iron Drakes, but they do manage to dodge. They pull away. Great micromanagement there, great awareness, and you'll see they take minimal damage from that assault from the skies. I think maybe one of them gets tossed around a little bit. One of these Iron Drakes, yeah, gets really hot under all of that armor, I'm sure, but despite that, they continue to fire away into this clump of Chosen with their great weapons, and Archaon is right there as well, so hoping to get a fair bit of damage into leadership as well. But you can see on this left flank, these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and the Dragonback Slayers are able to push back the Chaos Marauders, and over here as well, the Chosen with great weapons not having the best of times. You can see this Chaos Warrior as well gets completely obliterated, blown to bits. The Iron Drakes are performing admirably over here and back here as well. You can see these Iron Drakes continue to fire away into this clump, trying to get rid of the Chosen with great weapon. We get some magical support as well, or rather ability support, as Marked by Ulthar gets activated. Again, that's a huge reduction in armor as well, so it makes a massive difference to the battlefield Marked by Ulthar, and that's why I was saying that Ulthar's Raiders should have been picked out and eliminated first, in my humble opinion. Back here, meanwhile, you can see we've got the Chaos Warhounds chasing that Runesmith off, trying to get rid of some of that runic support, but you can see over here, these Chosen did not stand a chance. They are routing. They're giving up on the fight. We've got these Longbeards able to intercept, but I think giving chase after Archaon instead. And over here as well, you can see these Marauders trying to close the gap into these Iron Drakes and prevent their fire from coming through, as these Chaos Warhounds as well push through, try to shut down some of these Iron Drakes and some of these Quarrelers as well. And take a look at the amount of damage coming through because of all of these explosions. These Chaos Marauders already giving up on the fight over here. They're surrounded by a Rune Lord, the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, the Dragonback Slayers, and of course the Ulthar's Raiders. They're Rangers with great weapons, so they will hold their own in melee if push comes to shove. And right away you can see these Chaos Marauders giving up on the fight, while the Everchosen is having a field day against these Longbeards with great weapons, just coming out on top, just cutting and slashing, using Stand or Die, using Foe Seeker as well to keep alive. And you can see at the same time we've got these Marauder Horsemen looking for an opportunity to get involved, while these Iron Drakes continue to free themselves up from melee engagements and hope to fire away. You can see they turn around and fire away these Marauder Horsemen, but the Marauder Horsemen are pushing in for a melee engagement. And take a look at these charges. Great call, as I say from time to time. If your ranged units are out of ammunition, and if they're on horseback, send them in for these charges. They will cause morale damage, they will cause disruption, they will slow down fire from ranged units. So great call over there, sending these pretty badly hurt Marauder Horsemen in for some use. They're not going to do too much damage to those Iron Drakes, but at least they will throw them back and prevent their fire, slow their fire down. And at the same time, these Dragonback Slayers immediately respond. They turn around and dive right into these Marauder Horsemen. Great call over there. Of course, they are anti-large, and you can see we already have a route over there, and these Marauder Horsemen immediately pulled back into safety. Good work there by the Warriors of Chaos, just immediately retreating, staying away from those Slayers. And you can see right now we've got these Chosen returning to the fight as well, but they do get hit by the Master Rune's Wrath and Ruin, again slowing them down and causing damage, while the Iron Drakes continue to pummel them with those Troll Hammer torpedoes. Wonderfully done there, and the Chosen immediately give up. As soon as they engage, they give up and completely shatter. You can see another charge we get from these Marauder Horsemen. Good charge over there, but in comes that Flaming Skull, Burning Head, Fiery Pac-Man, whatever you want to call it. Does just a touch of damage. Unfortunately, a bad angle over there, misses all of these units, but the Marauder Horsemen here coming in for some more rear charges, just trying to break this right flank of Dwarves, but these guys are holding fast. They do not wish to give up on the fight. You can see Archaon as well. His morale is very low. He's just getting all these Dwarves just hacking away at his knees, at his shins. He is not able to like crawl or crouch down low enough to swing at them all, I guess, but he is falling apart, fully surrounded by all of these Dwarves. His health has been dropped by about 25%. His morale is now regaining ever so slowly, and you can see back here as well, we've got all these Chaos Warhounds once again pushing into the Runesmith, hoping to eliminate that runic support, while back here as well, we've got these Chaos Marauders moving in towards these Iron Drakes, and the Iron Drakes, I think, quickly turn around and hope to open shots into these Chaos Marauders, and you'll see if they do even a touch of damage over here, these Marauders will actually give up on the fight. They are able to close the gap, but it's not going to last very long. Of course, there you have it, a complete shatter more or less instantaneously, and back here as well, you can see these Chaos Warhounds giving up on the fight. The Runesmith is still there and willing to fight. Back here, though, these Marauder Horsemen, again, looking for an opportunity to get involved. These Miners with blasting charges are being eliminated by some Marauder Horsemen, and at the same time, we actually have these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, I think, trying to chase after some of these Marauder Horsemen. Some wasted shots from these Iron Drakes firing away at a shattered unit. They should turn around and focus in on Archaon, especially as he is marked by Ulthar right now, but he is also using Stand or Die right now to keep his leadership up, but more importantly, I think, keep his melee defense up as well, but he needs to be focused down on right now. You can see these Marauder Horsemen are very close to giving up on the fight. We've got the Rune Lord turning around, pushing in towards the Everchosen, and back here, we've got these Chaos Warhounds. They need to get involved as soon as possible. They need to dive into something or the other. Of course, not risk it against these Dragonback Slayers, perhaps, but maybe into some of these Troll Hammer torpedoes that continue to fire away at Archaon, the Everchosen. He is he's in a bit of a trouble spot right now. The Rune Lord is closing that gap, and though Archaon is trying to, I think, chase after some of these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, he's very easily surrounded right now. His health is extremely low as well. He's at that 50% mark. The Rune Lord, of course, is much healthier, though he won't survive as well in melee against Archaon, of course. We also have the balance of power in favor of the Dwarfs as well, and you can see these Chaos Warhounds here looking for an opportunity to get involved somewhere, anywhere. A good rear charge here or there. Maybe separating them would be a good idea as well, charging into some of these Iron Drakes, again, preventing them from firing away. Maybe charging into these ones here, drawing their fire elsewhere, wasting the last of their ammunition. And over here you can see, though, we've got the Longbeards here slowly dying away as all of that Iron Drake Troll Hammer torpedo fire comes in. Some friendly fire as well, I would imagine, but these Dragonback Slayers close the gaps into these Chaos Warhounds, getting these Chaos Warhounds to give up on the fight. You can see one shatter over there, another shatter over here as well. So Archaon is basically all that is left from the Warriors of Chaos. They don't have much left. They have a couple of other troops returning to the fight right now. You can see back here we've got some Marauder Horsemen willing to fight once more. We've got these Chaos Marauders as well. So Archaon is actually actually pulling back, trying to regroup with what's left of these Warriors of Chaos, but unfortunately you can see even this far away from engagements, these Marauder Horsemen are completely giving up on the fight. They've completely shattered, and these Dwarfs just continue to close the gap as quickly as they can. They're not the fastest, but they are trying. A for effort, of course. Archaon, more or less on his own right now. He's got a couple other units over here, a couple of other individuals, but they are just Chaos Marauders. They aren't really going to be the most capable unit against the Dwarfs, of course. They're not armor-piercing, neither that nor are they very numerous. They're already at like 10% health, but they decide to turn around and charge in. You can see the Trollhammer torpedoes firing away, a lot of damage coming through over here. Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, is going to fall apart. These Marauders as well, not going to have a good time at all. The Trollhammer torpedoes doing a lot of damage, but a lot of friendly fire here as well, but it's okay. These Dwarfs are falling for a good cause here. They're trying to settle a grudge, so I guess that's the time it's okay to kill some of your brethren, I suppose. But Archaon, of course, is not going to stand a chance. Marked by Ulthar, trying to use Foe Seeker to stay alive, to buff that vigor. You can see these Marauders have given up on the fight, and Archaon pretty soon as well is going to surrender. He does not stand a chance. The Rune Lord is in there. All of these explosive Trollhammer torpedoes are coming in. He's putting up a fight. He's killing a lot of them, but this is about the time when you hit that GG, of course. There's no chance for the Warriors of Chaos. So a great job by Clan Angrund. Great work by the Dwarfs, winning a glorious, well-deserved Pyrrhic victory. Now, those Trollhammer torpedoes were MVP this battle, both units clocking over 100 kills each, excellently managed, shutting down the most threatening units at any given time. Great use of Marked by Ulthar and fire from Quarrelers and Rangers early on definitely helped as well, whittling down the Chosen and Chaos Warriors with great weapons, quickly reducing enemy armor-piercing capabilities, and quickly giving the Dwarfs the upper hand. The Warriors of Chaos did well enough to shut down most of the enemy ranged capabilities, but as you can see, the Iron Drakes with their Trollhammer torpedoes were left largely unharmed, and that was certainly the deciding factor today. It would also have been a good idea to get rid of Marked by Ulthar and Ulthar's Rangers as quickly as possible. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War content and keep sending in those battle replays. I do think it's one of the best ways to learn, and it's always nice to highlight such amazing battles from the community. I'd like to thank all of my patrons for supporting the channel on a month-to-month basis, keeping the channel alive and running smoothly. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the battlefield.